you can see our house, we don't have walls, I mean wall like cement,
Yes.
we don't have electricity, we don't have water, but this is more, this is easier for me because I chose it. I chose to live here. I chose to move here. I feel too much Maasai sometimes. They take me like a real Maasai woman. They don't see difference. It's me sometimes that I try to make them understand that I was not born Maasai. So I still have my background. I still have my, probably my cultural limit also in embracing this culture.
Yeah.
Napenda tabia kila kitu napenda.
Kila kitu.
Kenye bibi ako naye napenda kila kitu. Tunapendana sana. Milele na milele.
He says that I don't know how to cook, so he prefers to cook by himself.
Azin chakula yako si tamu.
Anasema sio tamu sana.
Ni ukweli.
Mara moja naweka chumvi, mara moja naweka sukari. Yes, he complains, analalamika sana. Sasa anasema acha nifanye mimi mwenyewe.
Hello, welcome to Tuko Talks. My name is Lynn Ngugi, coming to you straight from Maasailand. Now, my guest today is an amazing woman, an incredible mom, and a wonderful wife. And she's doing an amazing job creating awareness around rheumatoid arthritis. And so, without further ado, please allow me to let her introduce herself. Hello, hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Mambo?
Poa sana.
Sasa.
Sasa, mimi ni Gaia,
Yeah.
Dominici, natoka Italia, lakini nilizaliwa Amerika Kusini.
Yeah.
And I'm here in Maasailand. Yes, I came here the first time in 2014.
Yeah.
I came because of my university. I was supposed to be on a job placement.
Yeah.
As a photographer, so I come from like photojournalistic background, and I was working in Nairobi. And then I was working in the slums of Nairobi, documenting like hard stories there.
Yeah.
And I felt of taking a break from, you know, that job.
Yeah.
So my boss at that time suggested me, why don't you go to Maasailand to see, you know, you can do game drive and you can relax. But, you know, I was here with, you know, for academic purpose. So I was like, I don't really want to go and see animals.
Yeah.
I just want to make the most out of this experience because I'm here for like a short period of time.
Yeah.
It was only 4 or 5 months. So I said, okay, let me try and get some contact and see if I can get some photographic project done down there around Maasai and Maasai traditions. And I didn't know anything about them.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I traveled the world. I traveled even with my parents, and up to now, my dad, sometimes when he come here, he just look at around, and then I say, why we never came to Kenya? It's just such a beautiful place. So we traveled the world, but we never thought of coming to Kenya. Yes, to Kenya or to Maasailand.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know why. It's just life. It happened to me. I mean, my first choice at that time was Nepal. I was supposed to go to Kathmandu.
Yes.
I just chose Kenya by, you know, by
chance.
Yeah, by chance.
Yeah.
Let's say like this. Like everything in my life, it just happened, but it turned out to be the best choice.
Oh, and you can confidently say the best choices you've made.
Yeah, I can say that. I mean, I am always on the move. I like moving around. As we were like chatting before going on the interview, I was telling that I spent 1 month in Nairobi. It happens to me to go to Italy sometimes. And I mean, I need to be in movement because that's how my heart and my personality probably is. I cannot stay in one place too long.
Talk to me about growing up. How was life like for you?
I had everything. There was nothing that I missed. I had even too much in life. But, you know, the trauma of being abandoned by my biological mother was something that affected my life and affected the way I felt, being me and being surrounded by other people. It's a trauma. Even though I was very small, you know that there is another life that you could have lived.
How old were you?
I was only 2 months, but there was a problem. On my documents, somebody didn't speak to my parents about my documents, so basically they gave me my name, which is Gaia, but I was already called by my biological mother with another name. So half of the documents arrived with my Spanish name and half with my Italian name, and then my parents just decided to go on with my Italian name. But you know, growing up knowing that you had also a name, so you were already a person, and then somebody, you know, because of a mistake of somebody else, gave you another name, so you are another person, was difficult to handle. And also there was this contrast between my possible other life. You know, my biological mother was an underage girl. She had no accommodation. She was welcomed in this house for like pregnant women with no family, no man or whatever, and underage girls. And then I have this life where, you know, my father is a lawyer and we have this huge house in one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in Italy. So I grew up with this contrast, and I think this made me feel like I had to go out in the world and see also the other side, because I grew up in this like protected ball, you know, and I went to school, I went to the private school, I had everything. I wanted a car, my dad bought me a car, not because of, in a bad way, but because of love and because of possibility. But I had this need, and I had this feeling, do I really belong to this world?
There was a void.
Yes. Yeah. And also there was this small voice that was telling me, you must see something else out of this you know, this ball that you are growing up in. I went to university in England, and I decided to go for photojournalistic studies because I had this passion about photography and I had this passion about writing. And I wanted to document life of people, untold stories, a story that maybe were not like very romantic or beautiful, but very hard and painful. So on the first year of university, I traveled to Brazil and I did a short documentary on sexual tourism, like children's sexual tourism. And that was very hard, and it was in Brazil, so quite close to my original country. And that's how I started in this like job. I was freelancing at that time, you know, looking for stories that no one wants to tell, no one wants to hear. And especially I was focusing on women, the figure of women in underdeveloped countries. So that's what I did before arriving here.
Before coming to Kenya. And let's talk about you moving to Maasai land and meeting your husband.
We met when I was taking some pictures not far from here. It's just minutes probably walking from here. I was taking pictures of a very young lady because of my series of portraits, and the husband of the young girl was not aware of me taking picture of her, so he saw us, you know, taking pictures around their house, and he ran because of this stranger. And then he was like feeling uncomfortable. I felt really uncomfortable. And then they made us sit down, and I was like, okay, what is going on? Because at that time I was not speaking Swahili, and I was not understanding any word of my language. And they told me, okay, he's waiting for another warrior coming over, and they will talk about the situation, about how...
And decide what to do
with
with
decide
you.
what to do. because I was already ready to, you know, delete all the pictures that I had taken.
Yes.
It was not a problem, obviously. And then he came. Yeah, he came, and that's how we met.
Hold on. Did you notice him from the word go?
Yes, I mean, he's very tall, so it's hard not to notice him, but he had his shuka around his face, so I could only see his eyes, and he was studying me. And then what really caught my attention was his attitude toward me. He was like helping me through this situation. He was trying to explain this other warrior that I was only a girl, a small girl. At that time I was 20 years old, so I was very small.
Yes.
And that I was in university. So he was like, we should help her like we help our our sisters.
Yes.
You know, our smaller sisters. So he was really nice to me. And he was like so helpful that he made me take pictures of him, and then the other warrior agreed on him and his wife taking pictures together, and then at the end I took even picture of this Moran that was angry with me. Yes. And with his wife and whatever, with the whole situation. So he really helped me.
Yeah. And
this created a connection between us, but I think we were kind of, I don't know, we were supposed to meet probably, because we, you know, we couldn't communicate with each other, and it was like this for probably 1 year, because not, you know, I was improving my Kiswahili, but it was still hard to communicate on important things.
Yes.
But
would you visit more often just to see him?
I stayed with him.
Stayed with him.
I stayed with him. Yes, then I went back to England because of my studies, and then I came back again. And then I was like going back to England and coming here maybe for a month, and then going back to England only for my exams in university. And but you know, the thing is, what really surprised me is that right now naongea Kiswahili, naweza wasiliana na yeye, tunaweza elewana vizuri.
Yeah.
But if I think about the past, the same relationship, it's the same relationship. I mean, even when we could not communicate, the bond that there was between us is the same. If I compare it to the bond we have now, that we can communicate to each other. So there was something about our souls, probably. It's not something about being able to communicate.
It was deep.
Yes.
In here.
Yes.
It's still deep.
It's still. Sometimes I find that right now that tunaweza ongea, tunaweza wasiliana ni kama hata ni ngumu.
Yeah.
I would like to go back when we couldn't communicate, because you use different tools to understand each other. Sometimes words are overrated. We speak so much without listening to each other, but when we couldn't communicate, we really focused on understanding each other and finding a balance between us. But right now that we can speak, sometimes we get lost in our words, because we. So you understand? You understand what I mean?
I understand.
It's nice when you cannot speak, because you are more open to listen to the other. You are more careful not to hurt each other. You are more careful to understand what his body language is saying, what his smile is saying, what his eyes is saying. But when you can speak, you just forget about all these things. You just focus on the words that he or she is saying.
Now let me ask you.
Yeah.
You are 20-year-old.
Yes.
You are here in Masailand.
Yeah.
You've seen this wonderful guy, and you are like, I will even stay with this guy.
Yeah.
What are the people around saying about the both of you, and where exactly are you staying? In the same house?
No, at the beginning we were not staying in the same house, obviously, because of cultural reason. So I was staying in the boma of his mother, and he was going to another family boma. Yeah. So we were not sleeping together, or anyway living together. And what people said, obviously, okay, they welcomed me as a photographer at the beginning, you know, because the first time I came here, I explained who I was. So I'm Italian, I am a student of photojournalism. Yeah. I would like to do some project for my university about, you know, Maasai. And they felt very honored. You know, they were like, okay, this Muzungu came all the way here from England. She's very young and she wants to live in the bush. Like, because I was like, I want to live here. I want to see who you are, to learn your traditions, to share food, to share a story. And they were like very open about it. And I was not expecting that. I mean, I was not expecting anything, but you as a journalist, you can understand it. You can predict that maybe they, you know, your subject do some kind of resistance, but they were totally open. They just loved the fact that somebody was really interested in them, was really, also I wanted this challenge of living in the bush with them. So they were kind of, I don't know how to say, but they found it funny probably. So I had lots of people, especially the elders, that really took me like a small daughters of them, and this protection, I still have it now, this protection and respect. So I'm aware of some people, especially out of this community, that might see our marriage weird, or they don't understand, or maybe they have this negative feeling. But as long as, you know, I have people from this community loving me, respecting me, protecting me, I don't feel like feel bad about those people. And you don't feel like an outsider? No, not at all. I feel too much Maasai sometimes. they take me like a real Maasai woman. They don't see difference. It's me sometimes that I try to make them understand that I was not born Maasai. So I still have my background. I still have my, probably my cultural limit also in embracing this culture. So I try to make them understand that yes, I live as a Maasai, but I'm not a Maasai. Yes, but they're very respectful. So they have tried, and they try to understand things that probably for them are weird or funny, or you know, they don't really understand why is Gaia doing this, and we don't. But they don't really judge. They don't judge. That must be amazing to have people who don't judge. It's very nice actually, because it lets you, it sets you free to be who you are. What I love being in Kenya in general, it's that people don't really judge each other, and it's something that in Italy happens really often. From schools, from friends, from family members. We are very judgmental to each other. But here in Kenya, I didn't find this. And I really appreciate this side of this culture, of your culture. And I think we should as Western come here with a more humble attitude, not with this like typical attitude of Wazungu that want to teach everyone and show everyone how to do the things. But I think if we were more open and more humble, we could learn more from each other. I want to talk about the part where you realized now we want to be husband and wife. What is your family saying back in Italy, and at what point did you decide, hey, I want to communicate to this man, let me now start learning Swahili? Seriously. Oh, learning Swahili was more a process. I was learning by myself. People from the community was helping me learning. I had some teachers bringing me books for kids. Oh, so, yes. So they were really helpful, and you know, they were really helpful. Even the kids were helping me. But then there was a point where I stayed in Nairobi for other reasons, and I decided to take some like classes. It didn't last more than a month, maybe a month and a half, but it really helped me, obviously, because I was like, you know, putting things together. So that's how I learned Swahili. About the marriage, my family never met in Toyai before our wedding, so that was the funny part. Really? Yeah, they never came before our. They didn't even know that I was about to get married when they came, so it was a weird story. But they never came because of two reasons. The first one was I didn't want them to come. I didn't want anyone to come here because I felt so well, so in balance, that I was afraid that if somebody from my other life came here, could have ruined my peace, my inner peace and my balance that I eventually found it after so many years of, you know, struggling. So they felt like they weren't really welcomed here by me.
By you?
Yes, I didn't want to mix too many things. It was like my happy place and I wanted just to live here without any other influences. And then they didn't come because they understood this, and also they understood that maybe if they did come, they could have put me in the position where my relationship with Ntoyai would have been really serious. And they wanted to wait for me to tell them I was ready to take this relationship to the next step. They didn't want to make the mistake of putting me or putting Ntoyai in the position, oh, Gaia's parents came, that means that they can get married now. So they wanted just to leave us free to decide by ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were there any objection from them about you? They are pretty much open-minded.
No, yes, yes, totally. I mean, never, ever, ever. They are like two of the most amazing human beings I know. I mean, if they were not my parents, I would like them as my parents. They're just amazing, really. I mean, they're really funny, and my mom is just very nice. I mean, all the people that met them, they just love them because they're very different, I think. Yeah.
Wow. When we talk of a wedding in our African setup, you know, there is the dowry payment. There is this part where the guy has to like send us, like, or maybe go and meet the lady's parents. How was the process like for you? Was it a wedding, or it was like, hey, be my wife? Yes, yes, I'll be your wife.
No, we just did the shortcut. We just did the shortcut because, well, maybe Ntoyai will give the side of the story, but the goal was to promise each other to be there for each other and to have this, you know, official. How can I say, this official label on our relationship. Obviously now we are Bibi na Bwana, okay? We're not friends, or we're not just, oh, we spend some time together. No, we share our life together. So now we are husband and wife, and it's different from being friends or for being, you know, something else. So I think, I mean, from my side, that was the goal of, you know, to do our wedding. It was just about me and him, not about any other thing or other person. I mean, we were not even sure that my parents could make it for the wedding, and I would have married him anyway. Obviously, I wanted my parents to be there, but you know, the thing was, I'm getting married with him, so he is my person, he's my family.
No matter how we do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And we did it in Nairobi at Sheria House.
Mulienda hapo kwa Attorney General.
Tulienda. And it was very funny because, you know, the officer started speaking in English. You know, obviously you see a Muzungu and a Kenyan, and obviously you go for English. And we were like, oh my God, Mungu wangu, tutaongea aje hapa? So he was like, all right.
Yes.
Taongea nini, Kiswahili au Kiingereza? Yes. We were like, Kiswahili. Yeah. Yes, so it was really funny because we could not understand English. I mean, I could, but even me, I was surprised because I didn't even think that he would have spoken in English. Yeah. So that was funny. So you know, our marriage was celebrated in Swahili language. Yes. Yeah, we did all the promises in Swahili and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Of course, there are those cultural differences. How do you guys deal with them?
We try to keep the communication always on. I mean, this is crucial and fundamental in every single relationship, even though you come from you know, the same tribe or you speak the same language or dialect. But for two people, that don't share anything apart from love. It can be hard not to be able to communicate and not to have this desire of understanding each other. If you just leave things to go, then you will find utapata shida. It's very important to open yourself, to also not to feel embarrassed by your feeling, to say how you feel towards these things, and also to have that intelligence of, you know, knowing where the limit is. I mean, we chose to raise our daughter here. Nairesi, I was born in Nairobi, but we chose to raise her here. And obviously there are many traditions involving small children. And I didn't want to go for them because I think they are too, can I say, invasive also in the body. I mean, like to burn their cheeks or to take the tooth off. I mean, I don't think this will make her feel more Masai than she is. It's just something that will change her body. And what if she wants to go back to Europe? What if she wants to go to Australia and she will always have something on her skin? And she didn't choose it. She didn't choose it. I mean, it's like piercing their ears. I mean, I chose to do it, but what if my mom had forced me to do it when I was a small kid? So what we do as a parents and what we do as a parents of a kid that live two different cultures is to let her free. She will choose what she wants to do. She will choose who she wants to belong to. We don't really want to do that for her. And this allows us also not to fight against each other, to choose which culture is more important than the other. I mean, is she Italian? Is she Kenyan? Is she Masai? Is she Colombian? She's a mix.
She's a blend.
Yes, she's a blend of everything. So I think the secret will be to leave her free
and let her choose.
Yeah, let her choose on her own. Yes,
I love that. Earlier on, when we were speaking, you said most people think this is hard for you because you are the one who comes to live in the village. But what they don't know is that this was actually very hard for your husband.
I think. I mean, I hope he will speak about it, but I don't know how open he will be about it. But I think, you know, I am educated. I come from a different background, and I traveled the world, so I already touched other cultures. So I was already able to adapt myself to different culture and to different environment. He didn't. So even though I moved here, he had to adapt himself to a life with somebody that didn't come from his culture. He had to adapt to my attitude, my mind, my way of thinking, my way of acting. So I think that is harder. I mean, obviously, you can see our house, we don't have walls, I mean, wall like cement, we don't have electricity, we don't have water, but this is easier for me because I chose it. I chose to live here, I chose to move here. I'm not saying that he didn't choose to marry me, but he's still where he grew up, inside his culture, and he had to, you know, how can I say, to adapt, but also to live freely while he's still here. I'm living freely away from my home. He lives freely while he is inside his traditional cultures. So
he has to deal with the criticism, he has to deal with,
And probably in the early years, he protected me a lot from this. I think I'm very grateful for him because he was not, he tried not to be affected by what people thought and what people were speaking. And he was trying to protect our relationship because if he only fell once then everything could have fallen.
Yeah. Wow. So he was that
He
thing
was
that
very
held
strong.
you guys
I think
together.
he's very strong. He's much stronger than me. I'm much more fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you feel safe when you're around him?
Definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, I was telling my friend, because you know we spent a month. I was in Nairobi. He was here. He was coming to Nairobi to see me and the baby. But and I was like, after all these years, when we don't sleep in the same bed, it's very hard for me to sleep, to fall asleep, because when I am around him, I just feel like I am, you know, at home.
Wow, what are some of the character traits that you truly admire about him?
Oh, well, I think he's amazing. He's very kind. He never thinks bad of anyone, which I do a lot. I mean, you know, I'm very picky with people. Okay, she said this, I don't like her anymore, like forever. And he's much more patient. He's much more
considerate.
Yes, but also he always tried to go beyond what people show or beyond what people say. I'm more shallow on this. I mean, he said this, then I don't want anything with this person. He's more like, I think he's more kind-hearted than me. I'm much more like mean.
Yes.
Yeah. At the same time, this make him be naive. So people can take advantage of it. So sometimes I feel like I have to protect him from what he cannot understand, maybe. But we are a team, so we try to work as a team. Yeah.
There are a lot of stereotypes. I can't even start by, you know, there are a lot of stereotypes about women from outside Kenya marrying, even just like an Italian woman marrying a Maasai man. What's the most weird thing you've heard people say about your relationship?
Oh, but so many. But I think like the most common fear or the most common stereotype is how many wives does he have? I mean, they don't even consider the fact that I can be the only wife of a Maasai man, because they are so, I mean, Western people, they are so used on hearing these stories that Maasai men have like 20 wives and 100 children, that they don't even understand that there are some traditions that can be changed, or they change, or maybe there is one person that, even though he's Maasai, doesn't follow that tradition. So I get questioned this lots of time, and I find it funny. Sometimes I just play with people. I just say, oh my God, yes, we are 5. It's very hard, but you know, sometimes it's nice. You know, you just send him to another wife.
You just send him to wife number 2, wife number
exactly. And unapumzika.
Unapumzika.
Yes.
Anaenda huko kwingine. Unapumzika.
I mean, I find that if the questions is really useful, and I answer. But if the question it comes out of ignorance, then I don't waste my time. Yeah.
Do such things get to you?
Not really, not really. I find it, I just get angry because I ask myself why in 2021 we still assume that an African man has many wives, or I don't know, or other stereotypes things. Or for example, lots of Western people assume that he is a Muslim. Don't know why. But they just assume.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with 2 different religions? And I'm like, what? We don't come from 2 different religions, but I'm not even so much religious. So even though if he was Muslim, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. I mean, people tend to see limit where I don't see them. I see richness, and they see limit.
Yes.
Yeah.
They see limits.
Yeah.
You see richness.
Yeah.
Nice one. How do you handle, you know, when you guys fight? Because I'm assuming just like in any other relationship, you
Okay,
guys
the funny
have
thing
moments.
is that sometimes I just speak in Italian. So I just tell him very nasty things in my own language. And the funny thing is that he's very bright, so he memorized them and then he just repeat them against me. But so it's very funny how we fight. Sometimes we get frustrated,
yes.
Definitely, because what we face is not like a normal argument between wife and husband. Sometimes other things get inside our argument and makes it harder to understand each other and to come to a solution. You have to be really patient to each other, to yourself. He's very humble, he's very calm, and I'm more like I don't wait for him to listen to me. I just want this now, right now, the way I want it. So I'm quite bossy. We try to find a balance between, more than between our culture, between our personalities, because he's very calm, not much talkative. I am an explosion.
Opposite.
Yes. So more than cultural differences, we have personality differences. Yeah.
But still, he's still the person you would want to spend the rest of your life with. Wow. You are creating a lot of awareness around rheumatoid arthritis. Why is that?
I am affected by this chronic illness that affect my joints. So I have, for example, here I have a titanium implant that comes from here up to my hands because the disease basically destroyed my bones. And then probably I will have to do other surgeries here because my hands, my fingers are falling and they are turning. And if you consider how young I am, these are already some big damages. I speak about disability because disability and youth or disability and beauty, they get in contrast.
Yes.
Sometimes I get asked, oh my God, you are so young and you are already sick. And I was like, so if I was older, then it was fine. Or sometimes they say, oh, what a pity, you are so nice and you are sick. And I'm like, what's the point of it? If I was ugly or fatter or smarter, it would have been okay. It would have been more acceptable.
Yes.
So that's what I try to do, is to basically put my face, which today is not very nice, but
it's nice.
I promise it's nicer
nice.
Sometimes. To say disability, it happens. It happens to all of us because we are human beings. It doesn't matter if you are rich, or if you are white, or if you are pretty, or if you are whatever you are, but it just happens because we are human beings. I mean, my body is like your body. Even if my skin is lighter, we are the same. So sometimes people think, I mean, Western people, but also African people, I think they don't understand that disability just happens. It happened to me, but it can happen to anyone else.
In Maasai land, it's not just a place where you come and sit and there's nice weather and there's amazing nyama. You have to make a living. Yeah. So what exactly do you and your husband do?
Okay, we have livestock, so we basically farm. We have bulls and cows and punda and donkey, yes, and mbuzi, kondoo, then kuku, jogo, and you see them. So we try to do this business. So we buy them and then we farm them and then we sold them maybe after 1, 2, 3, 4 years. It depends when they are ready to be sold. And then but that was, I mean, right now I am a master in farming animals, but you know, that side is more of my husband, so I needed something to do and to feel like, you know, I'm working, I'm cooperating to, you know, to make a living. I just didn't want to stay at home, and you know, I hate like the housewife thing. I don't cook, I don't clean.
Wait a minute, what?
He cooks sometimes.
So when he doesn't cook, what happens?
We just
You sleep.
The only person I cook for is my daughter, just because she's small and she cannot cook. But as soon as she can cook,
our men love being cooked for.
He's very independent.
Hey, Kisha.
Yes, sometimes he cooks.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of times he cooks. Also because he says that I don't know how to cook, so he prefers to cook by himself.
As in chakula yako si tamu.
Anasema sio tamu sana.
Ni ukweli.
Mara moja naweka chumvi, mara moja naweka sukari. Yes, he complains, analalamika sana. Sasa anasema acha nifanye mimi mwenyewe. Yes, so I'm not very... Yes, and this is funny because sometimes even like other Maasai warriors or other men, they think that he got a very big luck, good luck, you know? They are like, oh my God, he got this Muzungu, pretty young lady.
Aliangukia.
Yes.
Yes.
Then when they see how I actually am, they are like, oh my God, my wife, she's amazing. She's amazing. So, you know, it's funny because even here we break barrier, we break a stereotype because they think that he, oh my God, he had everything in his life. When they see that he comes back home and there is not even chai, I didn't even moto. They are like, oh my God, I cannot live like this.
We talked about him doing the livestock.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he does. What do you do?
What I do, I started creating jewels. Yes, so as you see, I was wearing them. I mean, the Maasai wear jewels all the time, so it's a big part of their cultures, and it seems like being a way of them for communicating who they are to the world. So I mean, I loved it. I love jewels even in my Western life. I was like wearing lots of necklaces and earrings and, you know, pete. So when I came here, I just loved wearing the beads.
Yes.
And then, you know, I was documenting our life through Instagram, and people were, you know, women were fascinated by the jewels I was wearing. They were like, oh my God, they are amazing. How can I have them? How I wish I had one. So, you know, my mom is a creative person. She had a shop with, you know, she was creating stuff with my grandma. And then I have a cousin that worked in the fashion system for like almost a decade in England. And then me and Toyai. So we were like, we can find a way of, you know, making jewels and exporting them and make people see how beautifully made they are, and to know also a slice of culture, of Maasai culture through their jewels. So we founded this online shop, which is called the Pamoja shop. And we launched it, we started working on it in 2019. We officially launched it on March 2020, so right on the break with coronavirus. So great idea to launch a business during a pandemic disease. But anyway, we made it. And then, you know, initially we were working only with one woman, who is not even from our community. And then, you know, when we saw that the business was growing and you know, it could help other people apart from us, I was like, okay, what can I do to give back what they give me when I came here the first time? You know, they helped me healing, they helped find myself here. So I had this kind of gratitude that I wanted to give them back to them. So I said, okay, let me create a group of women that can help me with this business. And that's how I create the group of women I work with. For now, they are only 4. I prefer to work with a small amount of people, but give them a bigger pay at the end of the month, so that everyone is happy. And so we collaborate to create beautiful things, and it's very nice. I mean, right now I'm very satisfied, and I hope to be able to make this business bigger and bigger and involve more people in it. They come at least once a week, women, to you know, to ask me if I have a position for them. But right now I can't, because you know, we just started. So I'm trying to work things out. But I hope to be able to take it to the further step.
And I wish you all the best. I
Thank
think
you.
It's a great initiative.
Thank
I
you.
love when women empower each other.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I mean, sometimes I just wake up with an idea and I say, okay, I need to go to, I don't know, maybe Mama Kipa and talk to her about this idea. Then she takes her stuff, her tools, and we just speak and we say, okay, we can cut here, and then we unaweza shona hapa, and then you just unafunga hapa, and then you know, and then the result is the result of a collaboration and of meeting halfway. And okay, I bring what I know, you bring what you know, we create a beautiful
this amazing
thing
product.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we wind up on this interview, I always like to ask, is there anything you think we should have talked about that we did not touch on?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
Then what would be your parting shot to your, no, what would be your parting shot to our audience right there?
Oh. I hope that my story will be listened to those that think that their life is shit. Can I say shit?
Yes, you
okay,
can say
I can
shit.
say shit. Who maybe are in a bad situation, or who think that, you know, their situation always will always be like this. No, because you have to live in the present. You have to be brave enough to shut the outside world and just to listen to your voice and try to understand who you are, where you want to go, and not to listen to other people, and also be always hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah. What you feel today doesn't mean that it will last forever.
Yeah.
So just go on with your life and be brave enough to dream big.
Yeah.
Because dream comes true. They come true.
Yeah, dreams come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, dreams come true. Where can people find you on social media? And if people wanted to support your business, where can they still find you?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram as a Siankiki.
Yes.
Maybe you will write it down.
Yes, of course.
Siankiki is a word in Masai language.
Yeah.
It means young woman.
Yes.
And our online shop, it's called the Pamoja shop. Yes.
Yeah, and our editor will put all the details
Yes.
here. Yes, and
because it's tricky.
It's tricky.
No one understands.
Any particular meaning behind? Okay, Pamoja means together.
Yes, there is actually.
Yes.
There is, because Pamoja, I took it from a sentence that I think it's typically said in Kenya, in Swahili language, which is tuko pamoja.
Yeah. Tuko pamoja.
Tuko pamoja, yes! Tuko pamoja, yes! It's something that my husband used to tell me in like a difficult situation, or like changing moments of, you know, dramatic moments of our life.
Yes.
He always tell me tuko pamoja. And this, I wanted to, you know, to do something with this feeling that makes me feel safe and well. And also, Pamoja means, you know, it has a bigger meaning of, you know, bringing cultures together where there is no black, white, Italian, Kenyan. No, I don't want a word like this. You know, it's, for people, it's always hard to describe me. Am I Italian? Am I Colombian? Am I Kenyan? Am I Masai?
Yes.
I don't like being labeled. I fought against label for like half of my life. I wanted to be Italian and I wasn't, you know, I didn't feel Italian. Then I wanted to be citizen of the world, and then I came here and now people think I am Maasai, and I'm still struggling to find myself in these labels.
Yeah.
So I just prefer to be myself.
Yeah.
I am Gaia.
I am Gaia. I am Lynn. Na tuko pamoja.
Yes.
Tuko pamoja kabisa, and thank you so much for having us in your home. You have an amazing place.
Thank you.
It's the nature for me. It's the fresh air for me. Honestly, it's the fresh air.
It's hard to find somewhere else.
Yeah. Sasa si unifanyie favor. Uambie watu watuko wagoje, bwana yetu anakuja tuongee naye hapa.
Karibu ndo ya. It's your turn.
Muite akuje hapa.
Mimi ni Koruta. Nimesaliwa hapa na bado naishi huku. Nimeoa hapa. Bibi nimepata hapa.
Ni nini haswa kuhusu huyu msichana ulipenda sana?
Ni upendo.
Hebu nieleze.
Upendo. Unajua kuna upendo ambayo mtu anapendana ni rafiki. Na kuna upendo ingine bibi na bwana.
So ulimuona mara yako ya kwanza kumuona, ulijua huyu msichana ako sawa? Na ukujali yeye atoki hapa, si Masai, watu walikuwa wanasema nini?
Sikujali, watu wameongea mengi. Huyu kijana akona bibi wengi, wameongea kila kitu wameongea. Na nashukuru yeye hajasikia, na mimi isile maneno watu wanasema haja nikasirisha. Bado sasa tunaendelea vizuri. Ni ile tukikosana kimdomo, ni ile tu bibi na bwana. Umekosea hii, umekosea hii. Na utarudi nyuma na bibi atarudi wapi? Nyuma.
Haya. Na alisema kupika ni ngumu sana kwake saa zingine. Saa mnaingia jikoni. Lakini kwa Mwafrika hizi mambo watu wengi wanaona kama hapana, mwanaume hafai kupika. Wewe unasemaje?
Mimi sijasema hivyo. Sijasema hivyo juu. Mimi sana sijaikaa kwenye kuna wamama. Wakati nimekuwa tu mwenye ambaye anaisafanya kazi, nimetoka nyumbani. Sasa nimekaa porini mpaka kurudi nyumbani ni shida. Labda utakaa miaka mmoja nje ya boma mpaka utarudi. Na nielewa. Sasa wakati ile nimerudi hapa, tumekuja kukutana, nimeenda kazi nyingine. Na hiyo kazi haikuwa na mama wala ni wewe tu ndio unajitegemea wewe mwenyewe.
Na mnapokaa hapa, naona mko familia yenu iko hapa, kila kitu yenu iko hapa. Mnapozozana mnatatua aje?
Tunatatua tu sisi wawili. Si shida sana. Yeye amejua ile lugha, pia mimi najua. Sasa tunaweza tatua, si lazima mtu aingilie, hapana. Tunaongea tu sisi wawili, inaisha.
Na unajua, na wale watu wengine wanaweza sema huyu wangeoa Masai, huyu kijana mbona hakuenda kutafutia msichana Masai? Unasema nini?
Mimi siongei na huyo mtu, nitacheka tu alafu niende.
Kwa nini?
Juu ukiongea na yeye na hakusaidii hiyo maisha, unanielewa? Ukiwa na bibi watatu ama wawili, lazima uwe na mpango. Na mimi sijapanga bado. Sijapanga. Na sije kama nitapanga. Juu labda Mungu amenijalia hiyo moja.
Kwa hivyo usikizi maneno watu wanasema?
Mimi sisikizi maneno ya mtu. Wanaongea mengi lakini mimi sisikizi. Nafuata ile kichwa yangu amependa, ama roho yangu amependa, ama ile tumekubaliana na bibi yangu. Hiyo ndio mimi nafuata.
Huu ni upendo kabisa. Ungetaka kumwambia Mungu nini kuhusu maisha yako?
Nataka kumwambia Mungu anijalie tu venye tunaendelea, atupatie furaha kwenye ndoa yetu, atujalie watoto ambayo tunataka, familia mzuri.
Na uko nyumbani kwa unaongea na watu wao?
Naongea na watu wao na kwa simu, lakini lugha ndio shida kidogo. Lakini Kenye nataka kumwambia yeye, nitamwambia yeye amwambie, tunaongea na simu hivi. Na nimeenda kwao.
Na wakakupokea vizuri.
Wamenipokea vizuri mpaka siku nimetoka.
Ungetaka kuambiaje watu wenye wako kwenye ndoa lakini wanasikiza mambo ya watu huku nje?
Ni mbaya, ni mbaya. Juu unaweza ua familia yako kwa ajili ya maneno ya mtu. Unaenda kwa ile boma, unaleta maneno, unaenda kwa ile ingine, unaleta maneno. Na kichwa ni moja ama akili ni moja. Utatumia aje hizo maneno ya watumia? Wezi. Kwako tu ndio itaharibika ama wewe uharibike.
Tukimalizia, ni nini hasa unapenda sana kuhusu bibi yako?
Napenda tabia, kila kitu napenda.
Kila kitu?
Kenye bibi yako naye napenda kila kitu.
Na najua yuko hapa saa hii, but ungetaka kumwambia nini? Si ataona hii, ungetaka kumwambia nini?
Ningemwambia tuwe mtulifu kwenye ndoa, tuishi vizuri. Tunapendana sana. Milele na milele. Mungu abariki.
Na mimi nawaombea mema. Mungu abariki hii ndoa yenu na muendelee kabisa.
Asante.
Unajua ni vizuri hata tukikuja hapa mwaka ingine tuone bado mko strong, si ndio?
Asante sana.
Watu wenye wa Kenya ungetaka kuwaambia nini?
Ningemwambia mtu asisikise maneno ya mtu, aendelee na maisha yake. Kenya ambayo utaona inakupoteza, unatoka kwa hiyo maneno. Na maneno ya nje wasilete kwa boma yake.
Wasilete hata kidogo.
Wasilete hata kidogo. Juu itaharibika.
Asante sana hata kwa kutuleta leo hapa. Tumefurahi kukuwa hapa.
Karibuni
leo
sana.
Ndio mara yangu ya kwanza kukuja karibu na Tanzania.
Karibuni sana. Karibuni sana.
Nafurahi sana. Na watu wangu watuko, I hope mmeenjoy hii interview. Let me know what you guys think, because for me I believe a true love is a gift. No matter what people say, if you love each other then kuisha, hakuna hata kuendelea kuji-explain, si ndio? Thank you so much for tuning in. A huge shout out to the man behind the camera, the legendary director Edwin Ochieng, my editors David Murithi and Yukabeth Mukami. And remember, if you want to share your story with me, my email is right there pinned on the comment section. Till next time, my name is Lynn Gugi. Thank you so much for watching.